Hi, welcome to the video. This is The Longing, a game that takes 400 days to complete. Here's a few things that you can do to pass the time as you wait for the king to wake up. This video will take you through everything I've discovered so far and take you on the journey with my little shade here, so you don't have to wait through everything yourself. If you have any comments or questions, please do ask below the video. Let me know what you think of our little shade, or just, say hi, because he's lonely. He's waiting a really long time here, so maybe you can leave a comment saying hi to our little friend on the screen. 400 days seems like a really long time to wait, and it is counting down in real time, but there are ways to make it go faster whilst in your little cave home. First thing you should probably know about the game is that it is very, very slow. This is how fast he moves, and it's at a snail's pace, and it's maddening. And I know for some people it's really just not going to be for the game for them. I would find myself sending him to a location, I would close the game, I would go and do something else, and then I would come back to it and then do what I needed to do, because he can take like 30 minutes to get to somewhere. So think about that if you're thinking about getting this game, but I do recommend this game. Things take time in The Longing. For example, you discover this drip and you find out that it will take a month to fill the hole so that you can climb. You can sort of swim up a bit and climb up to get into a new part of the map. This stalactite hanging here takes 2 weeks to fall, and that will allow you to step over and get to the other side. There's this drop here where you have to wait for the moss to grow so that it will break your fall. One of the first things you encounter is a door that takes 2 hours to open, so you start opening the door and then you got to leave the game, turn it off for 2 hours, come back to it later, or go and do something else, and then the door will be open. And this is kind of the interesting part of this game, and it kind of keeps the content at a staggered pace, and gives you a reason to come back and spend time with our lonely friend here. There's a place called the Halls of Eternity, a place where you can see time literally stand still. It will freeze the time as you walk through here, and it's never ending, but there is items in here that you can pick up. Cosmetics, curtains, a horse head, lots of paper as well if you want to do some more art, because you can have your shade do drawings and then hang them up in your cozy home to make it more cozy and pass time faster. The more paintings you have on the wall, the more crystals you decorate with. If you have a fire going, it will speed up time. So if you log off with him in there, it will be going down by like 10 seconds plus. Here we make friends with a little spider, and we tried to pay him a visit here and fell through his web, which made me feel terrible. But you realize that your new friend, I was scared to walk over him here. I thought we might squish him, so I followed very carefully behind him, and he starts to build a new web, which will allow you to climb into another area. So yet another timed kind of lock off there, and it slowly spins the web, and then you can get up even higher. And above there is an area with mushrooms, and then taking these makes you have a little dream. One of my favorite things was finding the missing pieces of an instrument so he can play the melody that is in his head and his heart to pass time. It will speed up time whilst you're playing, but I just love that he can piece together an instrument and stand here playing a little tune. It's very cute. Once the drip fills this hole, you can finally climb up onto this ledge and get access to the secret library where you can get a bunch more books for your shade to read. I do have to say I was a little disappointed in the library area. I'm not sure if there is more to it. It's pretty much just a book collection, and that's it. And considering that that is the longest I've had to wait to access an area, a month of in-game time, I was a little underwhelmed. But maybe I'm missing something. Let me know below if there is more to the library. Over the stalactite, you'll find a face shape in the wall where you can have a conversation with them, and they will actually give you clues in the form of riddles to some of the game's big questions if you give them certain items. You can mine coal and sulfur for the fire in your home. Word of warning, if you do make a fire from sulfur, it's as you would expect. It stinks and it sends you out of your home for a couple of hours whilst you wait for the smell to go. So I don't know why that's a thing. I'm not really sure what the purpose of having a smelly fire is. If you know some sort of secret to it, do let me know. As you're walking around, make sure you collect any wood and moss, as you will be able to make yourself a bed to sleep in. So far, only 2.9% of people have this achievement. Like 3% of people have made him a bed. That's so sad. So make sure you are collecting wood and moss and get your little guy a bed to sleep in. This is also another way to dream, I believe, other than eating mushrooms. And will also pass time faster if you are asleep in the bed, if you put him to bed before you close the game. Once you have a pick, you can dig out underneath your home, so you have the space for the bedroom. You can grow mushrooms and even have your very own bathroom down there. This all adds to making the Shade a lot happier in his home. He'll eventually have a smile on his face permanently, not just whilst he's in his chair. He'll just be walking around with a big goofy smile on his face because he's so happy with how you've decorated his home, which is one of the most adorable things. So, whilst you are going around and you have more art, mushrooms, crystals, and other comforts covering your home, the faster time is passing when you're in there, with the game open or closed, and you're waiting for the king, but it still seems like a very long time, right? Well, you don't have to wait the 400 days if you want to end the game. There are multiple endings. So one way in that you can end the game is climbing up, up, up here through the mushroom area. You will find this big ledge. Now, how do you get up here? The way to get up here is to plant the purple mushroom as close as you can to the edge, and then a green mushroom to its left. This will cause the purple mushroom to mutate, which will allow you to climb up onto the ledge. Now, if you keep going to the right, there's this very intense area. Honestly, gave me chills. It's very, very scary. The sound gets louder and louder as you come to the right here. And if you keep going, you are confronted with the option to commit suicide and end your Shade's time, his wait, his watch. I was really taken aback by this because even this short amount of time that I've spent with this game, I currently have 21 hours with the little guy. It felt like, no, I had no desire to do this, and some people have done this thinking that it might not be what it is. They thought they might discover a secret, but no, it really does kill your Shade and end your game. And with a game that takes this long to do anything, I don't think you really want to have to restart, so just be aware that if you do this, it will end your game, and you will have to restart. But there is another way. If you start heading back the other way in the darkness, you can find a hidden staircase. As you're coming back to the left, just have your mouse slightly up so you're walking at an angle, and this is what you will find up there. Well, that's super terrifying, and when the other eyes get you, you are transported back to your home like you've had a nightmare, and it's a long way to get back up there. So how do you get past angst, which is this other set of eyes in the dark here? What you need to do is leave yourself somewhere where you start to have a conversation with yourself. There will be an option about overcoming the darkness, and he will learn a new ability to shut his eyes. With this new ability, you can sneak past angst and up to an even newer, higher area. Here you can see the surface, and the way out is blocked. But if you come into the well area, he says perhaps people still use it, and if you wait long enough, a bucket will come down, and you can climb in. But, a word of warning, be careful whose bucket you climb into. There are, again, multiple endings depending on whose bucket you climb into, so you might want to have a look on the left-hand side at who is going to put the bucket down before you decide to climb in. And if you're curious about who's the right bucket to climb into, then maybe you should talk to your friend, the face in the wall. You can, of course, head back down to your happy little cave and wait for the clock to tick down and see what happens when the king wakes up. I don't know what happens when the king wakes up, and I'm not really sure which ending I'm going to give to my shade yet. I'm definitely not having him jump off the edge. I might have him climb into somebody's bucket and escape and live in the real world. Or I might just leave him and wait for the king. So if you want to see what happens when the 400 days are up and the king wakes up, hit subscribe, and I will be sure to put up a video with whatever ending I choose as soon as it happens.